Good evening. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dayeh, and I'm a professor of Arabic and Islamic Studies at Ghent University and formerly at FU Berlin. It is my privilege to introduce our association and its members. Following my remarks, my colleagues Samour and Marc Siegel will elaborate on our founding statement and the vision guiding our work. Our initiative took shape in summer 2024, driven by a shared commitment to fostering sustainable and inclusive academic engagement. In response to increasing restrictions on academic freedom concerning Palestine solidarity, we came together to build a space for critical research, teaching, and advocacy. Inspired by the energy of student activism in Germany and globally, and alarmed by the silences and limited interventions of our colleagues, we resolved to work in solidarity, ensuring that Palestinian and critical Jewish academic voices play a vital role in both scholarly and public debates. A dynamic and growing collective of about 50 academics, the Association of Palestinian and Jewish Academics represents a diverse range of disciplines, languages, and intellectual traditions. We are scholars of history, philosophy, literature, religious studies, law, political science, film studies, music, science and technology studies, Islamic studies, Jewish studies, natural history, gender studies, and the arts. We carry out our research in Arabic, Hebrew, German, English, French, Spanish, and other languages, reflecting our rich and diverse cultural and academic backgrounds. Based at German academic institutions, we engage in critical scholarship that builds on a long-standing tradition of Jewish and Palestinian liberatory struggles. Our association fosters intertwined Palestinian and Jewish emancipatory discourses, providing a forum where ideas of Palestinian and Jewish liberation and resistance converge, challenge, and enrich one another. Many of us have already collaborated across institutional and linguistic boundaries, shaping discourse through organizing, public talks, research, and writing. Positioned within German-speaking academia, the Association of Palestinian and Jewish Academics aims to play a key role in shaping discussions on memory, justice, and intellectual responsibility. We believe that scholarship holds the transformative power to strengthen civil society and challenge political and epistemic injustices. In the rest of the panel, my colleagues Samour and Marc Siegel will present the founding statement and the principles guiding our work.
My name is Samour, legal scholar and scholar of Islamic Studies at Radboud University Nijmegen, formerly Humboldt University Berlin. I'm delighted to present to you our founding statement, which we consider an academically informed intervention in the ongoing and increasingly repressive debates and practices we are witnessing in Germany and other German-speaking countries. I will introduce this statement in English, although we have worked on statements in both English and German, and we will continue with our bilingual and multilingual work, which we consider to be a strength and not an impediment in German academia, as we are a group of multilingual and multidisciplinary scholars who work both within and outside of Germany simultaneously. Writing the founding statement was one of the first steps for us to get to know one another or to know each other better during these profoundly violent and genocidal times. Some of us have worked together previously, while others have joined this association in recent months. Writing, thinking, and researching together is one of the joint projects that will remain on our agenda in the future. The founding statement can obviously only capture a fraction of our work, but the aim was to articulate some of the principles that motivate and guide our practice, particularly our refusal of any forms of inequalities between us. At the same time, we're painfully aware that the world, and Germany in particular, treats us unequally. Some of us are considered less worthy of being listened to than others, and some of us are deemed less worthy of protection than others. Our founding statement is intended as an intervention in ongoing scholarly and policy discussions in various ways. We wish to propose a different, perhaps fresh perspective on supposedly established empirical claims, lines of reasoning, or doctrines that have endangered our foundation for co-resistance to then enable coexistence. We will do so in part by retelling or unsettling settled historical narratives and current discourses, recovering possibilities that have been overlooked. The founding statement of the Association of Palestinian Jewish Academics reads as follows: "We are Palestinian and Jewish academics with personal, professional, and institutional ties to Germany and other German-speaking countries, as some of our active members are also in Switzerland and in Austria. We are organized to counter the repressive development of discourses and policies and actions," and maybe really the focus here is on action just as much as on discourse, "related to Palestine and Israel. Our association includes scholars of the histories, religions, laws, cultures, and politics of the regions, as my colleagues have already pointed out, as well as of Palestinian Jewish diasporas. Our collaboration is built upon lived experiences, professional expertise, and ethical commitment. As Palestinians and Jews, we have complex and distinct relationships to Palestine, Israel, and Germany. Our association includes members born and raised in Palestine, Israel, and in the diaspora. Many of us are descendants of victims and survivors of the Holocaust and the Nakba, the ongoing Nakba, and our painful histories reverberate in the present. Many of us have experienced anti-Semitism and anti-Palestinian racism firsthand. In Germany and elsewhere, commemorating the Holocaust often seems to preclude recognition of the Nakba. We maintain that the memory of the Holocaust should entail compliance with international law and human rights worldwide. Partition has defined life in Palestine, Israel for almost a century. Palestinians are still denied self-determination, sovereignty, citizenship, their citizenship as Palestinians, while Jewish Israelis benefit from structural advantage, recognition, and privilege. Palestinians have experienced dispossession, systematic legal and social discrimination, routine violence, and the annexation, confiscation, and fragmentation of their land. The perpetuation of the occupation also impacts and endangers Jewish Israelis. This entire situation has been amply documented by the UN and its international courts, international human rights organizations, and Israeli and Palestinian NGOs. We maintain that a viable future for Palestine, Israel requires justice. I'm reading from, is this on the slide? Okay, sorry. So it requires justice for Palestinian refugees as well as Palestinians in the occupied territory and in the state of Israel. We share a vision of equal rights and democratic representation for all people in the region. The logic of partition also impacts Palestinians and Jews in Europe, who are often framed as adversaries. In Germany in particular, we experience increasingly repressive state policies that include censorship, harassment, and defamation, including threats to residence status or loss of employment. Against the violence of this positioning, we assert our intellectual, political, and ethical solidarity with each other. As Palestinian Jewish academics, we are committed to the following principles that my colleague Marc Siegel will read out to you.
Hello, I'll introduce myself afterwards. I think this is okay. Can you hear me well? Okay. Just to not interrupt the flow. 1, academic freedom. Academic institutions play a crucial role in defending human rights and democratic values. We are committed to freedom of inquiry and expression, including protest by faculty, staff, and students. The rise of authoritarian tendencies across Europe, in Germany, endangers academic freedom and pluralistic discourse. We support the use of academic spaces for the exercise of political rights and the discussion of pressing issues without repression. 2, fair representation. Sounds simple. Academic and public discussions of Palestine-Israel should solicit a diversity of Palestinian and Jewish voices. Palestinians can and must be invited to speak for themselves in academic context and in the media. Similarly, academic and public debate must include a range of Jewish perspectives, including those critical of Zionism and the State of Israel. Only fair representation can combat distortions and false balance. 3, engaged scholarship. We believe in the necessity and urgency of teaching and research on Palestine-Israel, as well as on issues of racism, specifically anti-Semitism and anti-Palestinian racism. We aim to promote a nuanced and rigorous understanding of the history, politics, and cultures of Palestine, Israel, to inform academic and public debates, strengthen democratic civil society, and critically reflect on political discourses. This includes the initiation of events and seminars, the development of educational resources, and the creation of dedicated research programs.
4, solidarity with Palestinian academics. We bear witness to scholasticide and to the oppression of Palestinian academics in Palestine, Israel, and in the diaspora. In Europe, many Palestinian students and teachers work in the shadow of silencing and suppression. Palestinians are often excluded by displacement and statelessness from international academic opportunities. We call on institutions and funding bodies to actively welcome Palestinian scholars into already existing and new frameworks. 5, solidarity with Jewish academics. The discourse around Palestine-Israel affects Jewish students and faculty. We maintain that open academic and political discussion can be pursued without endangering others. In Germany and other countries, moreover, Jewish critics of Zionism, the State of Israel, and anti-Palestinian policies are often harassed and structurally marginalized. We stand with Jewish scholars who face intimidation and accusations of anti-Semitism for their solidarity with Palestinians. 6, legal responsibility. We assert that academic institutions have a vital role to play in creating a more just society. Institutions must transparently review, disclose, and terminate their relationships with all parties connected to violations of international law and human rights abuses, without exceptions.
Thank you. Sorry, I forced you to do that. I'm Marc Siegel. I'm professor of film studies at the Johannes Gutenberg University in Mainz. And I'd now like to say something about what we plan to do as an association, a Verein, and how you can join us. And I'll just add, since I saw people taking photos of our statement, I guess I mentioned it in my text, but we do have a very preliminary, humble website where you can also read the statement, also in German, and where there's an email address so that you can contact us. So first, building on what Islam and Nahed have said, I'd like to explain a bit more about what we've been doing the past year. As a group, we've been spending a bit of time getting to know each other, developing trust and respect for one another. Some of us didn't know the others prior to joining forces in this context. It was only through our meetings, our work on the drafting of this foundational statement, engagement in other academic and political contexts, and hanging out together on different social occasions that we came to be aware of the depth of experience and breadth of expertise among us. Some of us have lived in Germany and German-speaking countries our whole lives. I say that like as these people are doomed somehow. Sorry, it's the times. Others, like me, have been doomed for decades. While still others have recently moved here. Sorry. No, we're happy. We need you here. We need to work together and resist together. We also have varied and divergent experiences in the academic world in German-speaking countries. Some of us are tenured professors. We won the lottery. Others, doctoral students or limited contract postdoctoral researchers. Some are staff members, violinists. Others did their studies here but are now working as independent scholars, researchers at museums and institutions of higher education or at other European universities. These rich experiences situate us in a unique perspective to intervene in a German language academic context, both as insiders and outsiders. Insiders, those familiar with the language and specific history of debates and scholarship on Palestine, Israel, Zionism, anti-Zionism, Judaism, Islam, racism, and Palestinian and Jewish resistance, for instance. Outsiders, so to speak, this is really, you write these things and come up with these terms. Outsiders, those who come with a fresh view, a fresh necessary view on the sometimes seemingly intractable arguments within the German language context. It is the lively, challenging, and immensely productive exchange that has marked our coming together and our process of developing this organizational structure. In addition to getting to know one another, a number of us have individually or in smaller groups been involved in our own local academic contexts or interregionally and transnationally working with student organizers, learning from their courageous example, lending advice where requested, and attempting to educate colleagues and university administrators about the necessity of respecting the students' rights to protest and the legitimacy and urgency of their demands. At the same time, we have also done educational work at universities with colleagues on the importance of refusing the political implementation, with colleagues and administrators on the importance of refusing the political implementation of repressive measures, including the insistence on a single definition of anti-Semitism that has IRA, that has the sole purpose of silencing Palestinian solidarity and redefining Judaism to mean Zionism, i.e. binding Jewish identity to the state of Israel and its politics, policies, and ideology. We have also individually been involved in other academic and political contexts, including the newly formed Alliance for Critical Scholarship and Solidarity, CRISL, and its working groups, and, say, activist groups like the Jewish Voice for a Just Peace in the Middle East, the Jewish Bund, or Palestine Speaks. As an association, we plan on continuing such academic work in collaboration, exchange, complementarity, and solidarity with these and other groups. In short, we will do what academics do, complain about having too much work and miss deadlines. Beyond that, I'm not denying that. Beyond that, we will also organize events, lectures, workshops, discussions, film screenings, in which we can intervene in contemporary debates by reframing their terms, as informed by our disciplinary and interdisciplinary expertise and solidarity with one another. We intend to make our association known on all university campuses in German-speaking countries. We start humbly, so that we can hopefully gain a place at the table when discussions related to our expertise and experience are called for, as they are in these times. This includes, of course, further exchange with students, but also with colleagues to whom we stand prepared to offer workshops and provide resources. How to get involved. We have a rudimentary website, as I've mentioned, at this point, to which we will shortly upload a membership form, which you can fill out and send to us. There is an email address on the website. Members of our membership working group will be in touch with you soon. We will soon, of course, welcome other forms of support, whether financial, or whether they simply take the form of recommending us to colleagues, students, and university administrators. And we will be very happy to take questions at the end of the next section, which, as Tyme and Michael indicated, is a section in which we have 3 brief panels, in a sense, to demonstrate how we're attempting to think together, as a means of intervening in, on particular issues of pressing concern right now. Thank you. Jesse.